This is the Executone telephone camp. Danny High, crew chief. They've got to make an engine change. And they are in the next heat, so they've got to race with the clock. Let's go to Jim Hendrick down there.
A lot of activity going on right now. Don, let's call in George Johnson. George, what's going on?
I think we destroyed the front end there. We got about 15 minutes to get this other engine in.
Okay, we don't want to hold you up too long, but what happened in that final turn?
That's when the front end let loose.
Oh, that's why.
We just had to baby her across the line. Otherwise, it would have been fun to the finish.
Yeah, you were coming on strong lap by lap.
Yeah, we got a lousy start. We tried to make up for it.
Okay, Don, that's the story.
With the boats way down on the south turn, you see how far and how big this course is. The lineup, Tosti Asti against the Squire Shop. Two hot boats, Executone and U40. Squire Shop, we understand, however, having some slight steering problems. We'll see what happens there. In fact, how does Mickey Riemann plan to challenge Steve Reynolds in the Tosti Asti?
If I have a choice, I'm going to try to go the inside. That's the shortest way around. And generally, the shortest way around is the best way around.
Talking to Mickey Riemann, who figures to be your biggest competition coming up in this next heat, he says he'll take lane one if he can get it. You going to give it to him?
Sure, he's welcome to it. We're interested in finishing, and that's what we want to do to get into the final heat.
Right to the point and succinct. You've heard it from the experts, and here we go now with heat two-way. Slowing way down, all the boats are early. There's the Tosti Asti coming by the U40 with Scott Pierce, and there's Mickey Riemann in the Squire Shop on the outside, so he won't have lane number one as we start the heat. Mickey Riemann on the way outside, Tosti Asti on the inside. In lane three, you see the Executone there on the left of your screen. Scott Pierce in the yellow U40 as they come down into that north turn. Getting a little choppy now as they come into that first intersection, the busiest turn in the country. You see the rooster tail of the Tosti Asti on the right of your screen, but an incredible turn by Steve Reynolds in that brand new boat. That is one of the biggest strengths for this boat. Look at it, clear completely out of the water, but it is a great cornering boat, and that's where it picks up so much speed. Look at this race now for second and third. George Johnson sneaking by Scott Pierce on the inside. Executone Telephones in second place. Third place, Scott Pierce. There's the leader coming into the south third now. Steve Reynolds going after hopefully another 400 points. He picked up the first place in 400 in Heat 1A. The turbine-powered Tosti Asti. First place, Steve Reynolds. After lap number one, Reynolds out of Seattle, Washington. Its owner, Steve Woomer, as well from Seattle. Second and third place, George Johnson, Executone Telephones, and Scott Pierce in the U40, the bright yellow all-aluminum boat. We've had some great racing today, and here's some more for second and third place. And obviously, there are problems for the Squire Shop. Maybe it's the steering that Mickey referred to us earlier. Here, anyway, is the Tosti Asti with Reynolds again, back in first place, cruising along, running well on that very choppy water as that front now begins to come into the Syracuse area. And here on Onondaga Lake, just to the north of Syracuse, New York. Back to the turn. Here's your race, though, in Heat 2A. George Johnson on the outside, Executone Telephones in that brand new Lucero design and built boat. Scott Pierce on the inside. He's keeping George out on his hip. That boat only a couple of years old. Way out in front now, going into the south turn is Tosti Asti. Reynolds in control. As he said earlier, he just wants to finish, get the points, and get into the final heat. And he's doing exactly what he wants to do and his crew wants him to do. The boat running brilliantly with a turbine-powered helicopter turbine engine that's working very well for him. On the outside, pounding away, though, is still George Johnson going against Scott Pierce and the U40. Here's your race again, coming down the main chute. Pierce on the right, Executone Telephones and Johnson on the left. Scott Pierce. By the way, there's your fourth place boat. Again, troubles with Squire Shop. Tosti Asti way out of the lead with Scott Pierce in the U40 on the right of your screen there. Rookie of the year back in 1981, driving the Oh Boy Alberto. His father, Laird Pierce, is a former hydroplane owner, so it runs in the family. A hydroplane vein, you might say. On the outside, here comes the Executone. Look at him sneaking behind that rooster tail of Scott Pierce in the U40. What a great race with Pierce holding on to lane one and keeping Johnson just to the outside of him. I would have to imagine the Executone has the more power, but Pierce has the position. And Reynolds, in the meantime, scooting along the south turn, completing another lap. He's taking good care of his equipment right now. This is what the Budweiser went through down in Miami. Got a good lead and was able to preserve that engine of the boat, getting ready for the final heat. Right now, we've got a battle of the fittest, you might say, as Scott Pierce holding on to second place against George Johnson and the Executone. Going down the main chute, Scott Pierce, Merlin-powered all-aluminum hull. Second place for Scott. And there's the third place boat right with him, though, is George Johnson in that new Lucero design and built boat. It was built at Kent, Washington, brand new boat. They're still trying to work out the kinks, get used to the new systems. There's the massive lead, though, for Steve Reynolds in the Tosti Asti, the turbine-powered hull. The boat never been in water until this year, even though it was a backup boat to the Pay-In Pack a couple of years ago. They took a lot of time, a lot of tender, loving care to put this one together. And boy, it is performing so beautifully here in Onondaga Lake in Syracuse, New York. Steve Reynolds of the Tosti Asti picking up another 400 points as winner of Heat 2A. But half a lap back on the main chute, it's Scott Pierce on the inside in the U-40, the bright yellow boat. On his outside, the Executone Telephone's George Johnson, an offshore racer in the past. Right now, he's got his hands full with a very big hydroplane as they go into the south turn, the final turn here on this, the Heat 2A. Pierce with a position on the inside, Executone Telephone's on the outside with the power. Let's see how the finish goes. Executone Telephone by no more than half a Sponson. Here are the numbers now. Tosti Asti with another 400 points up to 800. Executone another second place, a close one. U-40 and Squire Shop with their steering problems, fourth place. Here again is that incredible finish by Executone Telephones and the U-40 on the inside as they come near the finish line. That extra power of that Merlin engine for Executone Telephones and George Johnson paid off, just winning it by, I would say, no more, as I said earlier, than half a Sponson. The big blue boat getting a second place, third place to Scott Pierce. Let's go to Jim Henrik down in the pit.
Well, as you said, Don, an easy win for Tosti Asti, the real battle for second place, and this kid right here, Scott Pierce from Seattle, hey, you almost had it. It was just a side-by-side, deck-to-deck battle. That was exciting.
Well, we were trying real hard. We're down a little bit on horsepower, so all I could do was push him in the corners, and he'd go by me in the chute, so I figured I'll just keep pushing, and hopefully everything would work out. But he got me just by a tad at the end, but hopefully we'll find some more horsepower and that won't happen again.
You come off that fourth corner, you thought maybe if I could keep him on my hip one more time, I could stall him off.
Well, I knew that he was going to lay in wait and run to the flag. I mean, I'm not stupid, and I understood what he was doing, but I figured I might just get him over to the beach and get him concerned about that, and so that's what I was trying to do. But he's a fine driver, and they have a fine new boat and team, and we're just doing the best we can with what we have.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, a lot of excitement down here in the pits. Up to you, Don.
Jim, excitement and some growing concern for officials. That weather front seems to be approaching, and some gusts are coming with it. More racing in just a moment. American Speedy Printing, Chet's Music, the Renault, and the Light All-Star 2. Here comes 2B. And there's Chet's Music right now coming around in lane number 3. In lane 2 is the Light All-Star 2, and on the inside, Ron Snyder, the American Speedy Printing. And here we go with Heat 2B. Snyder on the inside, Chet's Music in lane 3, and Heat 2B is underway. Ron Snyder in lane number 1. Lane number 3 is Chet's Music, and it looks like we've already lost Lights All-Star 2. Yes, Tom Deeds has gone dead in the water down the main chute. Now we're down to 2 boats because the Renault evidently failed to start. It's a 2-boat race. It's between Ron Snyder, there's the man, Ron Snyder at American Speedy Printing in the north third, and Chet's Music with Todd Garling in second place. There's the difference between the first and second place boats as they go down the backstretch. Ron Snyder in pretty position now to pick up 400 points, and not a bad position for that man, Todd Garling, to get 300 if they can complete now Heat 2B and try to get into the final race of the day. Ron Snyder, 45 years old, out of Piqua, Ohio, an acoustical contractor by trade. Coming around to complete lap number 1. The U6, the former Payne Pack Performance Atlas Van Line, former Miss Madison, still owned by the city of Madison, Indiana. Speed for Ron Snyder, 113 miles per hour. Chet's Music, 99.8 miles per hour. You can see how choppy it's getting out there, and I would imagine these gentlemen simply want to keep their boats running and take good care of them to get them into the final, because it's getting awfully choppy out there. That boat you've got to like for the final, because it is a very, very good boat in choppy water. Much like the Budweiser, rather heavy. It was designed by Ron Jones out of Seattle. Of course, Ron Jones also designed the Budweiser, which is not here after that damage during a test run on Saturday. Ron Snyder and American Speedy Printing, the first year for American Speedy to sponsor this boat. They had the old Predelco boat last year, which is now in the Light All-Star camp. That's Light All-Star 2, which is conked out in the main straightaway. Snyder, 45 years of age, in control here in Heat 2B as he brings that turbocharged Allison around the south turn, which is very, very bumpy. The bumpier of the two, as a matter of fact, the two turns here on this 2.5-mile course in Syracuse, New York. Ron Snyder in good shape here in Heat 2B. In second place, there he is, Todd Yarling, Rookie of the Year last year, co-Rookie of the Year with Earl Hall, who was driving the Squire Shop last year. Earl will be driving the Kenny Toyota during the Western Swing. That boat just about ready to go. Back to Ron Snyder down in the north turn. A little more protected area up here, but the swells are starting to grow now all over the course. Much bumpier out of the back chute. But again, that'll be a boat to be reckoned with when they get out in some of the heavy waves. A report from the weather now is calling, a weather service is now calling for gusts of up to 10 or 20 miles per hour later on in the day. So let's hope they can get this race done and get the final in and completed before that weather front comes in and sits down around the Syracuse area. Snyder, Rookie of the Year back in 1976 when he drove the Miss Madison and the Budweiser, as a matter of fact. He has been an official in the past. There you see Tom Dietz with the Light All-Star 2. He's in the main straightaway. And back to Chet's Music without a cowling. Of course, we saw that blow off in one of the earlier heats in a great battle with the Squire Shop. Ron Snyder, though, coming down the main chute. And he's going to pick up 400 points. Winner of Heat 2B, American Speedy Printing. So Ron Snyder and American Speedy in good shape national points-wise. They're in the hunt. Chet's Music in second place. Renault and Light All-Star 2 still looking for some points today. And the winds are simply getting stiffer and stiffer. I would imagine the officials will have something to say soon about this. We'll have an update in just a minute. Out of the course, trying to get a feel of these choppy waters on Onondaga Lake. Here are the officials now for today. Paul McKee, the chief referee at the start-finish line. Mike Noonan, his assistant. Bob Schroeder, whom you met earlier, is the pit boss. Mike Endress and Gordy Reed, the turn judges. And here we go with the final of the day. Chet's Music with Todd Yarling, Rookie of the Year last year. Look how turbulent the water is out there. Really choppy. Going down the back chute now, the boat's American Speedy Printing on the left. There's the Tosti Asti. Looks like he got washed down. Steve Reynolds slowing down. Yes, he's lost power. Steve Reynolds with 800 points has lost power, and now he's got to hurry to get ready for the start. American Speedy Printing in the middle. On the inside, it appears it's the Squire Shop with Mickey Riemann. Look at the waves getting in front of those boats as they go down for the start. Around the turn. Now, wait a minute. This is after the 1-minute gun. Here comes the Renault. And it's driven by Jim Croftfeld, sitting in for Milner Irvin. I would imagine he'll get black flag because you have to maintain a plane after the 1-minute gun and you have to be running out of the course. Anyway, here's the start. Mickey Riemann, Squire Shop. There's the gun for the start. American Speedy Printing in second place now as they go down the main chute here in the final of the Budweiser Unlimited Hydroplane Regatta in Syracuse. Now, wait a minute. Now we've got a red flag. That means all the boats are to return to the pits. We've got a definite problem here. You see American Speedy Printing in the Squire Shop coming down to the north turn, the first turn on this race course, but they are now instructed to go back to the pits. An official word we have now is that the Renault was the cause. There you see the Tosti running again. Boy, what a break for Steve Reynolds. He'll be able to get back into the final again. He had a bad start, got washed out. The Renault went out after the 1-minute gun. The officials consider that a hazardous situation, so they called the race. We'll try again in just a minute, weather allowing. Weather conditions have basically maintained, so officials have decided let's go ahead with the second running now with the final heat. To reacquaint you, it's the Tosti Asti, American Speedy Printing, Executone Telephones, the Squire Shop Chet's Music, and the U-40 in the winner-take-all final. Here we go. You can see how turbulent it is now with the wind coming down from Syracuse. Very, very choppy. In lane number 1 is the Squire Shop with Mickey Reeman, the 47-year-old veteran. And what a start he's got. He's way ahead of everybody. There's the gun. No official word of whether or not he has jumped the gun, but in the meantime, we've got him in first place. Mickey Reeman in the Union Bay Squire Shop coming into the north turn. Look how turbulent the water is as he comes around the apex buoy and heads back towards the back chute here on Onondaga Lake, the 2.5-mile course. First place to Mickey Reeman and the Union Bay Squire Shop as he comes around with that familiar vertical spray off the skid pin bracket. Reeman, 47 years old, trying to get his 11th all-time victory in the Unlimited. He is in first place. Second place currently is American Speedy Printing with Ron Snyder as they go down the back chute. Very, very bumpy. This is survival of the fittest. Look at this. This is American Speedy Printing on the left and the Tosti Asti behind the rooster tail of the American Speedy coming up trying to take second place away from Ron Snyder. That's the first place boat completing lap number 1, the Squire Shop. Mickey Reeman coming down the main chute to complete lap number 1. His speed, 117.5 miles per hour. Not bad for water conditions like this. Tosti Asti has now moved into second place. Steve Reynolds threatening now to take the lead against the Squire Shop. A 3-year-old boat now, formerly the Atlas Van Lines. Look at that beautiful shot as the Squire Shop holds lane number 1. Reynolds on the outside of the Tosti Asti. 2 Lucero designed boats now threatening to take the lead, one or the other. And what a battle this is going to be now as they go into the wind down the back chute here at Onondaga Lake in Syracuse, New York. In third place, Chet's Music. Fourth place, the Executone. Good battle going on back there, as a matter of fact. In first place down the back chute, it's Mickey Reeman, national champ back in 73 and 77. Would love to do it here for Bob Style and the Squire Shop people. Look who's coming up on the right side. It's Steve Reynolds. Reynolds in the Tosti Asti in the turbine-powered boat as they go in now to that south turn. Very choppy down there. No, look out! The Tosti Asti looks like he's hooked a skid pin possibly, and he's gone dead in the water. Steve Reynolds and the Tosti Asti slowing way down. In the meantime, there's your leader, the Squire Shop. Mickey Reeman holding on to that inside lane, going down the front chute now. Speed for this particular lap, 114.1 miles per hour. Second place now goes to Ron Snyder on the American Speedy Printing. A good boat on turbulent water. The Executone swinging wide to avoid Steve Reynolds. As you can hear, he's trying to get that turbine started and see if he can salvage some points here in the final heat of the day. The Executone with George Johnson. Executone Telephones going down the main chute. In first place, again, back to Mickey Reeman. 47 years old, a win here would tie him with Chip Hanauer as the winningest active hydroplane driver with 11 victories. He's got a long way to go to catch some of the old veterans that are no longer driving. He would be a leader. Ron Snyder in second place, American Speedy, and Steve Reynolds is rolling again. He got the turbine-powered engine going again. Very tough to do without that equipment on the docks that can get it started for him, the batteries. Mickey Reeman, they did a lot of sponsored work on that boat on their way up from Miami in Earl Hall's shop in Virginia, Earl being the former driver for the Squire. Here's your battle now for third and fourth place. Chet's Music and the Executone Telephones on your left as they go around the north turn going down the back straightaway. You can see it's just a battle of putting up with the bangs and bruises you're going to get riding out there, even in a cab over. It's a bumpy ride as Mickey Reeman comes around now in the Squire Shop. This would be victory number 5, I believe, for Bob Style, the owner of this boat, the Union Bay Squire Shop. Mickey Reeman, who has won 47% of all the heats he's been in. Ron Snyder, a veteran, one of the popular guys on the tour. And again, the battle with Chet's Music on the inside and George Johnson in the Executone Telephone on the outside. Coming around that south turn where it's very, very turbulent. Big rollers out there. 1.5 to 2 foot waves the weather service is predicting out there later, and they've got a few of them right now. You see Steve Reynolds in lane 2 now trying to threaten the other 2 boats as they go down the main straightaway. The Executone holding on for third place here in the final heat of the day. Back to the first place boat, Mickey Reeman. trying to get his first win ever since taking that six and a half year vacation from Unlimited Hydroplanes. And on this turbulent gray day, a windy day, this is the day in the sun for Mickey Riemann, the winner of the Budweiser Unlimited Hydroplane Regatta in Syracuse, New York. The Squire Shop and Mickey Riemann. And here is how it stands. Squire Shop, first place, American Speedy Printing with Ron Snyder in second, the Executone Telephones third, Chet's Music number 4, Tosti Asti finishing fifth, and the U40 number 6. And again, another look now as the Tosti Asti was going down, threatening to take the lead going into the wind, the most turbulent part of the course. And right there is where the Tosti Asti suddenly caught the rear end up in the air, and the skid fin caught, it hit a wave and spun around, really taking a beating and jarring driver Steve Reynolds. Good thing he's wearing safety belts to keep him inside the cockpit. But the moment belongs to Mickey Riemann. Let's go down to the winner's circle.
How's the saying go down? To the victors go the spoils. Here's the trophy, and of course the winner, Mickey Riemann. Mickey, after a 6-year absence, it's probably good to be back in the winner's circle.
Oh, it sure is. It's a very, very nice present to be driving for Squire Shop in Union Bay, and a very nice, happy Father's Day present for me.
Not too shabby.
Oh, no.
You had competition from Tosti Asti. He kind of went sideways coming around to challenge you for the lead. Did you know where he was?
Yes, in fact, I saw him go sideways. We went down the back straightaway extremely fast, far faster than I wanted to in those water conditions. We were both really flying, and we went in the corner hard because that's racing, and I saw a great big splash, and I thought he got sideways, and I just a glance of it. So I had to continue running hard because I wasn't sure if he was stalled or just got sideways. It was rough out there, but I'm sure pleased.
The winner, Mickey Riemann, driver of the Squire Shop, and that wraps it up from the pits, Don.
And Jim, while the Squire got the win today, American Speedy Printing has the early lead in the National High Points race. A very tight race, as a matter of fact. As you see, all the boats here very consistent. I'm sure the Budweiser will have something to say about it before it's over with. Moving down the line, the Tosti Asti, 800 points today. Team Velocity, Atlas Van Lines, yet to see them. Miller Lite All-Star, I'm sure they'll get into the race before long as well. Now, remember, the next race will be in Evansville, Indiana. We hope to see the brand-new Atlas Van Lines. We hope to see the Budweiser back, going against people like the Union-based Squire Shop and the Tosti Asti. For Jim Hendrick, I'm Don Poyer. So long from Syracuse, New York.